As we get to the end of the year, I feel like my brain is just exploding and I can't parse things out or think clearly. And there's two things that I really need to do to be able to not only enjoy the holiday season, but be ready for the start of the upcoming year. So by the end of this video, I will walk you through this process to be able to have the clarity you need to be able to feel amazing about how your 2025 went and have true understanding about what you accomplished and how you grew, and just feel really good about how you spent your time this year, but also have the clarity about what matters for next year and be able to create that space that you need to be totally present for the holidays and enjoy this time with your family.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation, and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
When I talk with moms, and in my own shared experience, you are typically in one of four categories. The first one is bored. You don't know what you want your days to look like. They are long, they are endless. This happens especially in the early toddler years, or maybe right when you transition, you have your kids in school and you're trying to figure out, what do I even do with myself? It feels like you're wasting a lot of time often on social media or watching shows because you don't know what else to do, or you have low energy and you don't feel like there's a lot you can do, but you're bored. Then there is busy but not fulfilled. So your day is long. There is a lot that you're doing. You are checking off the boxes, but it doesn't feel good. It's not fulfilling. You might be doing all the right things and not feel much joy out of it. That is your busy but not fulfilled section. Then you're frustrated. There are things you want to do. There's things on your heart. There's things that you want to be trying or exploring or digging into, or goals you want to accomplish, but you don't feel like you have the time, energy, support, bandwidth to pour into those things. It is a very frustrating place to be. And then there is aligned. That is where you are spending your days on the things that matter to you. You know what those things are, you know what your priorities are, and you're moving forward on those things. You're investing in those relationships. You have time with God. You're able to enjoy life as an adventure and not hold the plan so tightly, but to be able to be flexible and go with the flow. That is what I like to call being a soaring mother. But you are living life aligned with the things that matter most to you. And that is a very wonderful place to be. That's where I want to help all of you get to. So if you are in the bored, but not, if you're bored, it is because you do not have clarity and you're not taking action. All right. Low clarity, low action. If you are busy, but not fulfilled, you have low clarity, but high action. You're spinning your wheels. You're doing stuff, but you don't have clarity. When you can move and increase that clarity, you immediately get to move over into either aligned, if you're taking that action on those things now, or frustrated. But honestly, just crossing that divide into high clarity is 80% of the battle. It does not take that much. There's a lot I can teach you and help you with to help you go from frustrated to taking action. Very practical things that you can do. It's not a long list. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out. We can start helping you make progress on that right away. But 80% is just crossing that divide where you now have more clarity. So that is why this process that I want to share with you matters so much, because I want you to be able to have the clarity that you need to be able to live life aligned with the things that matter most to you, spending your time and energy on the things that matter most to you, to become that soaring mother, using your gifts and talents, sharing it with those in your circle of influence, growing your personal development, building strong family relationships, being able to serve those that matter and that are in your life. Those things. I want you to be able to soar. So We're going to get there by going through this 2-step process that, again, it'll give you the presence of mind that you need because things are settled in your brain, and you can have that confidence with where you're spending that time and energy, and also have the confidence to rest and pause because your vision is bigger than you, and you also create space for you in your life. So let's get to it. So the very first step is reviewing the year. Now, there's 2 places that I like to do this. One or the other. It's the same thing, actually. So we've got the 2026 Thriving in Motherhood Planner, which is beautiful. I love this color. I am so excited about it. Could not be happier and thrilled to be able to dive in. Now, the very first pages in this planner is the Create Your Vision workbook here. So built into your planner is the Create Your Vision workbook. Or if you already have a planning system you love. Now, the cool thing about this is that you create your vision for the year and you make it a reality 1 week at a time. You have everything that you need in here to make this vision a reality. Having said that, some of you already have planning systems you love. Some of you already love using notebooks. Some of you are all digital. You already have the planner part figured out in a way that works for you. It's not broken, don't fix it. But I still recommend getting this vision workbook. So the exact same vision workbook that can be found in the planner can also be purchased as a PDF. And both the planner and this workbook come with a course where I walk you through every single page. This is 29 pages, which I don't want to overwhelm you, but it's very strategic. So you don't have time, maybe like me, to sit down for hours and read and ponder and think through this. So what I've done is every page has a video that goes along with it that you can just listen to. You do not have to watch me talking to you. You can just listen to it and be thinking about the things I'm discussing with you on that page. And then when you have a moment and you've got your thoughts gathered while you've been hanging out in the shower or washing your dishes or watching your kids at the playground, you can be pondering these things, and then you can jot down your answers as you go. And so it's a very gentle process where that fits into life. I've got 5 kids. I'm homeschooling them. I do this podcast and run the business in my small pockets of time. I've never had a babysitter or loads of hours in my day to be able to go through this process. But I've been doing this since 2015, since I've had 2 little kids, and now I have 5. So this is doable no matter what your constraints are. My kids aren't even in school. Okay. So you can find time for this. This matters. When we talk about what matters, what moves the needle forward, what makes what do you want to invest your time and energy in that'll have the biggest impact in your life, this exercise that I'm about to walk you through is that thing. All right. So the very first step that I like to do is you start here with remembering 2025, the previous year. Okay. We're going to walk through remembering and reflecting on the previous year. I love to close out this year. Now, I do this process depending on the season of life I'm in a week to a month. It expands and contracts. And sometimes I don't want to start this process until January or February, like our Decembers are so full. But what I'm really finding right now is I feel that need, that drive. I'm just craving closing out the year with some reflection. So the very first thing we do is remember the previous year. I love to go through and look at what books did I read this year? What projects did we work on? What milestones did we accomplish as a family? What goals did we have that we met? What goals did I personally have that we worked on, or that I worked on? What progress did I make with the business? What progress did I make in our home? What traditions did we start this year? What places did we go? What major challenges did we accomplish? Now, do I do all of those things? No. But what was relevant for me this year that is impactful for me to review? The really cool thing is every time you go through this exercise, this is kind of like a extrapolation of what we do every 30 days in the Thriving in Motherhood Planner, doing a monthly review. But when you take the year as a whole, you will be shocked. I have done this exercise with women for 6 years now, walking them through this process and coaching them through it. Shocked every time. Everyone is just thrilled and flabbergasted at all that happened. Our brains are so good at minimizing our progress and completely ignoring it, to be honest. So this is a really exciting thing. Do not skip it. If you can only do one thing from this whole video, do that. It will make you feel so good about yourself and your life. And that is important because when we want to go into creating something, we want to go into creating that vision and looking ahead, we want to come it from a place of positive momentum and energy and looking at things as they are, as they really are, not as we are interpreting them to be in our tired emotional states. Okay. So this is a really important place. Then I go through a series of reflection questions. Once we looked at what happened, I like to reflect. So, for example, what did you accomplish this past year that you're most proud of? And what were your successes? What was the wisest decision you made? That's an example. So, I go through like about 8 questions reflecting on the year. Another example is what was missing from last year as you look back. Now, these are all with the intention of kind of digging for gold, of looking for patterns and clues as to what, again, matters to you, what doesn't matter to you, what you want more of in your life, what you want less of in your life. So we just kind of reflect and ponder, shame-free, guilt-free, looking for clues. Then we go into the rewriting my story section. Now, if you watched last week's video, listen to last week's episode, we talked about the power of using your past as a tool and to help create meaning for your current present in a way that is empowering, and the importance of closing that stress cycle of bringing and healing any hard things that happen in your life can come as we find the meaning in them and find gratitude for how things shaped out. For example, when I had C. diff 10 years ago now, that literally almost killed me. It was the hardest thing I had done to that point in my life, and honestly probably still hits the top 3 list. It was excruciating, physically, mentally, emotionally, for my family, for my relationships, for and just every ounce of it was so hard. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. And for the people that have come into my life that have also had C. diff, there's just a deep knowing and understanding that comes from that time. Okay. And none of us would wish any of you to have it. And yet I have so much gratitude for that thing in my life now. From those experiences, it shaped us in a way that was so positive. It shaped our family culture. It shaped our priorities. In many ways, it launched the planner. I don't think we'd have the planner maybe if I hadn't had C. diff. That was a huge tipping point for me. There was a lot that came from that season that is so good, so rich, so wonderful. Now, that's an extreme example from a long time ago because I like to share things with you that I've processed, right? There's still things that I haven't rewritten this year yet, so I'm not going to talk to you about this year yet. I will after, though. But what I want you to do is be able to look over your last year and rewrite that. I know for me, every year I kind of focus my brain. Many of us are hardwired for this. We just are more pessimistic, especially when we're tired. And so it's really easy to look at all that didn't go well last year or to carry these stories with us that don't serve us and that are very negative. And so instead, I want you to take a time to reflect, first of all, how are you thinking about the year? Maybe this is not a problem you need to solve. But if it is, and you notice this is not an empowering story, we're going to take time to bring that meaning into the year, something that you can be proud of and feel good about. And then we get to declare 2025 complete. Okay. So this is the part that I really love to do right now. And I love to take as much time as I want and need in this reflection process. This is not something that has to be hurried or frenzied. This is not a school assignment. There's not a hard deadline. You do not get graded on this. But it's a really nice way for me to just get some clarity about what happened and close out the year. Now, the next part is really fun, and this, again, it can ebb and flow. You might be in a spot where this is really fun for you to do pre-holiday season. This might also be something that's really fun for you to do in January. That's often when I like to do it, after Christmas has passed, but also just be thinking about it as we go. Now, again, this entire section here is available with the mini course. So again, I'm not sitting down and looking at this and thinking really hard about it. Even I listen to my own videos, so I know, okay, I'm thinking about this now. And then when I have a moment, I can sit down and write things out. Okay? So the next part of creating your vision is imagining the possibilities for 2026. So before I even start to jump into more questions or exploring, I want to brain dump everything already in my mind about what is already top of mind, what I'm already thinking about. I might be thinking like, I want to put my kids in soccer, so I'm going to write soccer. Or we're taking these trips, or I have this priority, or I have this goal for the business, or I have this thing I want to work on with my kids, or I already know this is the kind of person I want to become. I just get it all out of my head now. Because if I don't take time to just dump everything free form into the spot, then all the other exercises or questions or things to help you explore will not have a place. You'll be like, how do I fit this idea I have into this page? It's like, no, no, no. Just put it all down. It will all be safe. Brain dump everything. Again, if you can only do one thing, okay? Review last year in those categories, pick the ones that are relevant to you, and then 2, do this brain dump of what you imagine for next year. That's it. Like at the most simple form, if that's all you can handle, do those 2 things. However, I think it's really impactful to keep moving on. I love to do a personal life assessment. This is where I rate myself in 10 different categories, 10 different life domains. It's really easy to think of like, how are things going with the kids and how are things going with our house? But like you as a person have a rich, wonderful life full of possibilities in 10 different areas at least. And so I like to review those, rate myself on those, and then just brainstorm how can I move up the scale in those different areas. And that doesn't mean I'm committing to those things, but I do like to think through, okay, why did I give myself that rating and what would it take for me to bump myself up a little bit higher? What does that look like? Again, we are mining for gold here. We want to find out what matters to us most right now. And it's not going to be all 10 things, but I want to be intentional about what I'm saying no to as much as what I'm saying yes to. And so instead of just brushing it under the rug and ignoring it, I want to pull everything out, look at it and say, this is what I'm picking. We talk about who do you want to be in your different roles as wife, as mother, as business owner, as school PTA volunteer, whatever it is. You get to pick your roles that you're identifying for yourself. We talk about establishing your foundation. What are the essential things that you need to do for yourself, for your family, for your marriage? What feeds your soul and helps you feel joy? We look at your talents and cultivating those in ways that are important, taking time to assess those yourself, asking somebody, what do they see in you that you're not recognizing? It doesn't have to be like performance talents either. Are you a good listener? Are you someone that's good at asking questions? Are you really patient with your kids? What are these talents and which ones can you continue to develop and magnify? Or what is a talent that you need this year? What is a skill you need to develop that you can seek? And then we talk through, well, how can we use it to enrich others in your family outside of your home? We talk about, part of that soaring mother piece is using your talents to bless those in your circle of influence. So your circle of influence absolutely is your family. It's your friends. It can be your community, school or church or work. It can grow outside of that. So let's think about what that looks like right now. Now, some people are really good at this visionary thing, coming up with ideas, and then some of you really struggle. And so we have an exercise in here about creating a risk list where you answer the question and just say, I could take a risk and fill in the blank. It's a lot easier for probably most of us to think about the things that scare us, which are often hidden goals or dreams or hopes, than saying, I want this. Okay? So for those of you and all of us that say, it's hard to say, I want this thing, we're going to do, this thing scares me. It would be a risk too. And then you brainstorm that way. So again, we are always just mining for gold. And then we think long. And we go through a series of exercises of looking far ahead and seeing, okay, well, how does that influence our right now? And then we go through exercises about building a strong family. All right. And I ask a variety of questions in here to help you think through your family as a whole and your kids and what you guys want to work on this year. Then we do a home management check-in. We all live in a house. We all have daily life to take care of. So we want to look at what's going well right now, what's not going well right now. How can we improve things? What are the pain points? What are we ignoring? And we get clear about that. So once you work through all of those things, then we're ready to start going back and taking all of those brain dumps, those brainstorms, those thoughts, and consolidating into something useful, that clarity that we need. And that's where we go into creating the vision. And so I love picking a word for my year that just encapsulates the theme. And sometimes that word matters more than others. Sometimes it's a phrase, sometimes it's a scripture, but picking something that helps me anchor in and remember. So for example, I had a friend, Lindsay Jensen, that again, she was part of these, I've been doing this with moms for years, but she picked the word generous. And I thought that, and I've borrowed that over time because that word for her meant so many things. It allowed her when she had people coming, friends were over for playing at her house, and it was lunchtime, and she could think, I could be generous and feed us all, right? Make a ton of quesadillas or grilled cheese sandwiches. Or when her kids wanted her time, she could be generous and give that time. There's a lot of application. So if you can pick a word for that means something to you, that helps you actually in your day-to-day life taking action, not just something aspirational, but something that's memorable, that helps. For me this last year, my focus was this idea of loaves and fishes. What little bit can I give to God, and then let him perform the miracle with that? So what little bit, this year I was pregnant. We just had our 5th baby. So for me, it was, okay, what little bit can I do today? And then we'll let God take it and run with it. Because I felt like my capacity was really low. It was really low for a lot of this year. So, and pick your word, and then we take your vision. Now, this is a choose your own adventure. And every year, what my vision looks like is different. Sometimes it is very clear goals. Like, here's 5 different areas of my life, and here's goals in each area. Sometimes it's a list of projects that I want to accomplish. Sometimes it is a mixture, a little bit more nebulous. Like, I picked that word one year, nurture, and was like, okay, well, here's how I want to nurture me. Here's how I want to nurture my family. Here's how I want to nurture my, like within my home. And so I, kind of picked that, my word, and then had a theme around it as that vision for the year. Some years it's just a lot more tactical, like this needs to happen. So for example, this year my vision was like, I'm having a baby. Because I'm having a baby, we got to get our home situated and streamlined. And I wanted to finish building the Surviving to Thriving toolkit. We'll start and finish it. I built it this year with amazing women. So, like sometimes it's just pretty straightforward. Like, this is the circumstances, so therefore we need to rise to the occasion and meet the circumstances. So it can be whatever you want it to be. It does not need to be big and grandiose. It can also just be owning. This is what's so important. You want to own what you're doing. If we just go through life and go through the motions, it's really easy to be in victim mode and to feel like this is thrust upon you. You don't have a choice in the matter. You're just stuck. And I don't want that for you. One of the really important keys and details into not being burned out as a mom is to find meaning and purpose in your life. So we looked at that at the first part of this exercise with that rewriting your story, finding the meaning and the purpose. But it is equally just as important to have meaning and purpose in your everyday. Why you are doing things, why you're doing the laundry again, why you're caring for your kids again, why you're waking up all night long with your baby. There needs to be a why you are using your time to work on your business or to work outside of the home or all of these things. We need meaning and purpose to not get burned out. That is the difference between being excited about what you're working on and being angry about it, to be honest. You need to own it. So this vision for you, you will know it is right when it's something that you are excited about, when it's something you are owning. And this is not a list of things you should be doing. It is things that you are claiming. What are you claiming this year? So if that is your laundry system, claim it. All right. If it is starting your business or growing your business, claim it. If it is supporting your special needs child who needs a lot of attention right now while you are figuring out what they need, claim it. This is so important. I don't want you to be burned out. I don't want you to feel like you have to escape from your life. Life is a struggle. It's going to be. It is not going to be easy, but we can arise to those challenges and feel like we can meet it when we claim what is in front of us, the task at hand, okay? Now there's other elements here. This year we've added family members' goals into this vision section. So my kids are I've got a baby, but then also between 5 and 12, the next 4. And so I want to be very intentional about checking in with them and figuring out what's important to them. My husband and I also every year are talking through, okay, what are his priorities? What does he care about? What is he working on? And I needed a space to write that down. So I remember to ask him about it and how's it going? So we have that here in the family members goals section. And then personal life philosophy page. So this vision often is who we want to be and what we want to do. But throughout the year, I'm going to be reading because my brain is focused on this, I'm going to be reading books or reading scripture or talking with someone, and phrases, scriptures, verses, ideas, quotes, they're going to stick out to me that are all in support and pursuit of my vision. And so that personalized philosophy is a spot for me to collect this year those things that are really resonating with me, that are encouraging me, that are supporting me, that are helping pull me forward into this new version of myself this year. And so that goes on the personal philosophy page as a place to reference, review, remind, collect, all in one spot, these inspirational ideas. Then we have the goals and habits at a glance page, which you can either do this like, okay, this is a concrete year, this is what I want to work on, and fill it out ahead of time. I know people that do that. What I really like to do is fill it out as I go throughout the year. Because while we create this vision for the year, the reality is there's also every 90 days a spot to do your vision for the quarter. So this is like, we think long for the year, but then in the planner we get really practical and we do this every quarter. And so I like to fill this out quarterly as I'm going through and reflecting on my progress throughout the year. So we've got a spot. Anyway, there's more exercises. There's 2 more things. Energy map and leverage tasks. That's an entirely different thing. We got another podcast episode about it. Not relevant for right this moment though. So let me kind of bring this all together for you. The 2 things that are really impactful are both reviewing that year, grabbing that meaning from your last year and framing it in an empowering way, and then figuring out the meaning and purpose of your next year. It will evolve. It doesn't need to be perfect. But it is a rough draft, and it will help infuse your focus and help you figure out what matters right now to you, so that we move you across that line. That 80% of the effort is getting across that clarity line. And so that's where I want you. Okay. Once we've done that, it's going to help you be able to be more present with your family. It's going to help you be more intentional with your time. It's going to help you be more clear on what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, what the trade-offs are, because information's going to come up, and it's totally okay to pivot. It's totally okay to change, but you got to have a starting spot. So again, 2 options, resources why. You can jump in with a Thriving in Motherhood planner, helps you create that vision at the beginning, and then we make it happen 1 week at a time. The workbook here is also an option. If you already have a planning system you know, love, adore, is working for you, just get the vision workbook with the mini course that'll help guide you through that whole process. If you are ready to jump into the next step, you can watch the Plan a Week You Can Win training. So this is the first step. You're going to create your vision. Then the free training, Plan a Week You Can Win, is going to help you understand how to take this vision and make it a reality, and what that looks like practically for you as a mom in the real world, real life, being flexible. This is very different from all of those other productivity experts and trainings. This is not about time management, okay? I don't believe in managing your time. I believe in being very clear about what matters to you and then making progress on that. So that is kind of my heart and intention behind it. Again, this is a sustainable practice for me over 10 years now. So it works. It works. I am so excited for you to work on this. When you have grabbed the workbook or the planner, it would put you into the Thriving in Motherhood Collective, which is our online community, and you get the opportunity to do this with us and share what you're learning, share your successes, share your vision for the upcoming year. I love reading them every year. I love seeing the progress that you're making, the things you're uncovering, or if you have questions or get stuck, you can ask in there and we'll work it through with you. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.